page Kuf Mem Hey. Now, there were two shittas. The question was that he had begun with, the Rav had begun with, is why should for the look, when we see the tamuna that is represented, bringing the kale in, why does the nook come first? So the first idea was, let's see, I think we got a little place we can pick it up here. So in the brackets, right up above, there's on the left column where it says Shita. This is pretty much where we stopped yesterday. He said, "The Ma'arei Chocha b'shnei hamshochos shonos, because he says there's two separate, completely separate hamshochos. The hamshochel the nok bal sfiras ha'omer, when we go on that word of sfiras ha'omer, ba'al sfiras ha'omer, right? Hu l'nok dezuna getanim. It's a different flow, or this, I don't know how to describe it, but it's separate. So he says of hamshochel the zer anpin v'chayom zecha the zer anpin the zuna gedolim. There goes the zuna getanim, zuna gedolim. So one is going into what we consider to be zah, and the other one we consider to be malchus. And these are the words that the Rishash uses to describe them. So he says there's two separate hamshachos. It's not a hamshacha to the zocher and then to the nuk. It's a hamshacha in two different situations. So here's the second one. He says Shita Beis, so there is the Kol HaMshachos Hem the Zuna Gedolim. Okay, so there you talk about Zeranpin. Behem Bechalkim Behem Bechinas Panim Ele Bechinas Ach, but the difference is whether or not it's a Hamshacha from the face or some from the front, but from the backside. So he said, open Zeh, Betevis Havaya de Bracha. So going back to the Bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam. So therefore, back there, when he said the name Hashem, it says "B'tevis avaya de bracha mamshichim as a chasade v'chagavura for the v'shecha de bechinas ach the zer anpen." That's when the ach comes in. So that's in the beginning. So the first thing is the ach comes in. Number base is "B'tevis al sfiras omer." So when we get to that phrase, and then shchul levusha ha'chug. The bechinas ach the nok. So this is the third part, the second part. Number gimel. I don't know how he does that. So let me see how he does it. That's the third part. And that's how it goes. So in other words, whatever it is, the reason, the answer for why it is that you would say the nuk first. I still don't have the answer exactly why it's depicted first, but he said it's really not first. It's really a separate hamshacha altogether. So what would that be? So the first hamshacha, and then there's a second hamshacha to different partsufim, are different aspects of the same parts of. Mihu akatak his bar alone, but it's still not clear to us. What is the hamshacha that comes after this? B'shas and the sira at the moment when you're actually saying, I guess, the day, I guess that's what he means. B'shas the sira atzba. Shemekvana the chamshach chasada the zecher b'chagavuras the nuk. We're over there. You're taking the chasad and the zah and the gevuras the nuk. So he says anasa the achar become b'shas sfiras. So that's where everything flows in. Kol yom b'bechina achar b'memtes b'bechina. So every day is going to be a new aspect that's going to come in. Umizecha uma bein hamshacha zucha the hamshachas hakodmos. So what's the difference between this one and we say it like that? The Yulin Od B'Sidr Sfiras Omer, so you have to look over the Sidr and the Sfiras Omer, Shefach Rishash, Al Seder Baracha Os Teth. So wherever that is or was, I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so we'll go to moving along. Where would we be then? I don't know where to start. So let's go backwards a little bit, and we'll pick up the black print on number Ayin Dalet. Number Ayin Dalet, the words of the Rav. He said, "V'amrachach amisbach hayom kach v'kach lomar, excuse me. Wow. Oz the kaveh b'seder kol hagavanas and this kadael. So then you should have this the idea of the kavanas of all the things we mentioned. But b'seder hamedregas kol yom v'yom in the order of the medregas every single day. Beis hasvira atzma at the time of the sphere itself. Kasha omer hayom when you say the phrase, it's going like this: Kach b'kach laomer. Kaven the kavanach aniskeret v'drashim akodmim. Kol yom lefi b'kinosu u'kumoshe v'vor v'holach. As we're explaining, as we're going on, so v'navech v'ketzarach v'chasakavonish is ba'arom v'drashim akodmim. B'kol laila yesh the kaven shnei hamshachos. One is kavanas hamshachos amocha the spheres Chabad chagtam the zer anpen. So he said, because we don't deal with the nai or the kesser. Every week. A milvad sphira sadas, do not count this fast, which has 2 weeks. Chasanda the das b'shvua echad, the Gevurah the das in the next week. V'chein melvad sferis teferis malchus shachar b'muchim nimshachin l'shneichen b'shvua echad. V'seder hamshachos shall call yom may call. I'm not going to get into this. There's a real arichas here. I'm not going to get into that. Shvua b'shvua hu sheb'kol yom nimshachas b'chinas mochim achas b'tov sheva b'chinas mochim. Trying to find a period. Shehem gadlus v'katas rishon v'sheni shal abba v'imach v'seder hamshachahu v'yom rishon v'shvua nimshachin amochan the gadlus rishon the yasaf yom sheni. So it's going to go through something I think we already know, and so let's go back. How do I pick this up? So back on page Kof Mem Daled, and just reading the Rav at the top is the Amracha Mizbach Yom Kach V'Kach LaOmer Az the Kaveh B'Seder Kol HaGavanas. You have this idea Nizka the El B'Seder B'Dregus Kol Yom V'Yom V'Amasha V'Zeh. So he says it like this: Ki B'Leil Rishon Tomar. So because in the first night you say like this: Hayom Yom Echad LaOmer V'Dekaveh L'Hamsha B'Zer Anpen Gadlus Rishon the Aval Shachar B'Muachok B'Sher Anpen. Vihi havaya achaz the av the yudin. Going on, gam tekavim el os alos shebashem ekya rishon. So he says it's something else. He said he said b'kol so the blurb said b'kol yom yakavin el os echad min esara shemos ekya. So every day has one letter that we do. Now I'm thinking that this is one of the charts in the back of the Reb Mordechai Atiyah, that little blue book. So he said, "Gam dekavem al os alos shebashem ekya harishon shebasara ekya hanikroim asara domim." So let's see. He said, moving on, Gam dekavem. So he says also should have this kavanah, v'hamshik or makif or penimi min bechinas amalchus shebachesed harishon. So from you're in the parts of the first malchus. And I want to say out what he says. He calls this the what does he call this? I know it's of Chagat, so I'll try to come back to it. Gam tekavim l'hamshik or makif or penibim min bechinas amalchus shebechesed. That's the lowest part of the parts of Chesed. He says a rishon min achamish chasadim. So it kind of like sounds like it drips down all the way down to the bottom. The nikdas b'chesed shuhuz roa yomim, and it goes into the arm, which is the right arm. So I want to go back to where it talked about number Ayin Vav. So number Ayin Vav said, wait 1 second. So number Ayin Vav said, I'm sorry. Gam tekavim el os alos shebashem ekya harishon. So he says this is a kavanah that we have to have on the first day. Hakavanah the lechalon hu v'chavid echadrash test b'katzara. He says v'yesh tekavim kol laila os achaz basara shemes ekya. So that's it. That would be what 40 different letters. V'hem arbaim osios. So that's how this works out. Now, I'm not sure there's an explanation of what this actually accomplishes, but each day is a separate aleph, or a separate aspect of the Ekya. So he says, Ekya echad shalem, Shehem bechinas kolol shala ezer shemas Ekya diskarm, which is you're bringing the kololim after that. I guess he means to say, what, the root? I'm not sure. So he says, so this kavana that we're doing now, this bringing this concept of the aleph k, yud k, like that, 10 times, and then going another 10 times or 9 times with just the plain avaya. How? Sheniz ba'arach of the eldrush test. For whose seder hamshacha nosef, so it's an additional hamshacha milvad masha gevuvanim as kavanas havlos adamim. So this is something. What it says, it's additional. What does that mean? I'm not sure exactly what additional, but it means it's separate. So b'masha gevuvanim as kavanas havlos adamim b'tevel zechavai the birchos asfira keniska the el b'drash zeh. The Zechah the Omer Khan, and this is what we're saying here. Sheyakava b'yom rishon el os ala shal shem ekya harishon. Then just reading on number Ayin Zion, he says agam tekaven la'amshech or makif or panimi min bechinas hamalchus shebechesed rishon. So we're down at the bottom again. That's what we said before. Rishon. Min chamish chasadim, from the 5 different chasadim. V'nik desucha b'chesed who's roa yomim. Now what does he mean here? He says atach yikavin as kavanas amshachas chasadim. So now we're talking about this kavana. V'hinech b'shavua rishon is pashet achesed rishon b'chamish chasadim. So he says the first chesed. He said the words are in the first week. This pashet achesed rishon, the first chesed spreads. Okay, I read it slightly wrong. Of the 5, because the first chesed comes out. If Yom Rishon shall the shavucha yikavin lachamshik as bechina pratis atachtoinach shelo sheicham malchus the chesed rishon. So the first week or the first day you're going to bring in the malchus. Becoming lachamshik of shis pashet besviras chesed is their anpen, and that's the kavanah that you have when you say that this is going to spread. Now we said before, ubepratos hamshocha he lechesed the chesed. So specifically, the light is going into chesed. It's going to be going into the top of the chesed. So the chesed has 7 different parts to it, and here we go. So chagafishin is boyer la'el, as we explained above. Yikavin lachamshek hein as bechinas or makiv hein as or panimi. So once again, the kavanah is for both of them. Shalom malchus the chesed. So he said, "Al derek zecha yikavin lachamsha bechinas or makiv panimi the malchus the Gevurah the rishon the timshach bechesed the chesed the nuk." So this should also. So there he says they should go into the nuk. That's when we get to the Gevurah. So he says, "Al derek zecha dekavin b'shacha yamin." So the same way you're going to go the rest of the day. So you have an aspect of the Ekya, or one of the letters of the Ekya, every single day, and and every day is different. So the Chasanim go to the. He said, Yakavin lachamshe bechinas or makif panimi the malchus the Gevurah rishona into the malchus of the first Gevurah. So these are chasadim going into the Gevurah. Al derek of anasach be'elu, kavanos elu, the kavod b'shachah b'yamim called yom lefi bechinaso. So he's going to, when we get to the next drush and the final drush, he's going to get into that more. V'da, now he says this. Wow. He said, "V'da ki yirale she'elech asar pa'amim kale," that we said before. Hanirmazim b'milos ha'omer kanizker hey misarim mekifim. They have to be 10 ki kain shem kale b'miluo. So because kale in miluo, as we said, who elef Ki which is aleph lamed, like that. V'hu b'gematria hakef. So I think we saw that yesterday. V'chadavar etzli hu b'sefer hu b'safek. So I'm not sure about that. Number tests. So let's go to number tests. Just reading across the bottom still. So he said, "V'od yesh gevurah recher v'inyan sfiras ha'omer v'tzarek l'kavein ba mivoyer od gevurah." Okay, so anyway, let's look at this. Hakdama the Inyan the Shach Denim. Now this is a big part of that, what we got in the Rabbi Mordechai Atiyah Sefer. Nakli the Vohav Inyan the Shach Denim. So it turns out, I said yesterday I thought there was 7. I was just really just trying to decipher it. And there's 6. So there are 6 that he knows about, and these are the 6 that he's going to bring them. Hinecha Yudura Shebetachidus Abiriya Choya Shaviris Akalim. So first came out there that he says of those 7, and they gam sheves malachim, which are called that too. The netzach v'hod. So he said the netzach v'hod nechshavim echad. They're in this count. They're considered to be 1. So he said besod malchi Adam and his karim besod pashas v'yishlach. As the lights go into their klecha b'nish baruch b'kedev v'nafla the olam bia. Kedev v'chitzoni the chasiyah b'kedev v'tzeiyim the yitzira v'kedev v'chapinim v'chabdecha the bria. So he says that's what happens. So v'eilecha orash shalachem nishara b'tzilus, but the lights don't go break and they stay up above. Makol makom yardo nitzutze oros im hakelim hakiyosa b'makomim, in order to keep them going. Vehem harapa nitzutzin that we talk about. V'hinech hakedech b'chashavurech b'chaladucha b'kein harapa nitzutza machayim osam. What in fact are they? Hem shach dinim. There's 320 dinim down there. There's more about this in the Shefa. Maybe we'll get to that. Because these 320 are all punishments. So the Achim began bisman atikun, but now after this, at the time of the tikkun, olam shach haladul. So these shach, they go up. So that's what's happening. But at the time that the tikkun take place, she brings them 7 completely new gevuros that have been sweetened. And what is this? This is the season. He says, wait a minute, let me go back on this just 1 second. He said, Nosnim and Nosenis ima the Shevas of Malachim Chamisha Gevuras Katashim and Mutakim. She gives to the Malachim 7 new Gevuros, and he said these 7 Gevuros are the sod of the Shem Maha Chadash and Besakim Malachim. So these, he says that the Maha. I mean, it sounds like he said. What did he say? I'll read again. He says that the Malachim are Chamisha Gevuros. Excuse me, the Ima, the Shevas and Malach and Chamisha Gevuras Chadashim, so the Gevuros, that's what I wanted to say. V'revechem v'sod shem Macha Chadash is saying that Macha Chadash is a Gevurah. Hamasakim as Hamalachim Sheyatza M'Shem Ben Kenaida, which is the broken Malachim. V'hem Chamisha Gevuras Mansapach, and you want to look at it more carefully, he says you actually find that these are, I guess he said 7 before. So now he says v'chamisha gevuras mansapach, that actually also this is also the concept of mansapach, the oilim begematria par. So here we have these different numbers we're working with v'chem par dinim, and these are the 280 dinim. Now the 200. So he's saying it's really had to be thought about a little bit more. He says he's saying that the 280 dinim are actually sweetened dinim related to mansapach, and also the concept of the machodash. So I would think, so I can understand why the mama, I'm always thinking zeranpin. As a result of that, it's positive instead of negative. Here he's saying that actually it affects a tikkun. So that's that building. Maybe that's what he means. That the building concept is a gevurah. Val Yadim Nim Talkim Hashach Dinim, and through this, they're able, that is, the Mansapach is coming down to sweeten the 320 dinim that we're talking about. Now, exactly how they became 320 dinim, maybe I'll be able to find it in the Shefa Kavonos, a little bit more about that. So let's see, what happened then? So then we're on number Pei Aleph. So number Pei Aleph, I'm reading down below now, to see if we need to pick up anything. I know that from reading the background, I think it's on Rabbi Daniel Frisch, that the Jews of his area, Hungary, or maybe the Hungarians, were taken during SEFIRAH. So it's a hard time. V'heim inyan the shak dinim and anudoim. V'heim begematria omer, and they come back to that. Yemei sfiris omer v'heim yemei din. V'gevuras k'mavur le'el. V'edel adinim heim bebechinis shak dinim. This is the concept of shak dinim. V'nir maz inyan zera v'tevis omer. Ha'ola begematria shaka, which is 321. Communion shak dinim with a kolel. Now, okay, this seems to be like a chiddush for me, that the CHADASH he's telling us is a Gevurah, and that this is related to the concept of the matzah, which I had in the back of my mind always, that is, they are sweetened dinim. So, in other words, a constructive dinim. Maybe that's what that means. So he says we have, what, a couple of minutes? He said, so the root of everything is these 320 dinim. What do you mean by that? The whole concept, I guess he means, that's what he means. What's going on now, where we're at right now? So we're in the midst of the shach dinim. And so therefore this is what we are working on, to sweeten those dinim. The labasmam al yedech of the mitzvah SEFIRAH Omer, by doing the mitzvah of SEFIRAH Omer. So then I'm moving on, and I hope to be able to get back and pick up some of this, the Shefa Agavanos, and learn a little bit more about that. So this is an interesting idea too. The shach dinim come up. So again, what at the time of the tikkun? We're talking about the time of the tikkun when we're talking about SEFIRAH Omer, I guess. Which goes in the kalim of the malachim that broke, and also the rapach netzutzin that keep them beloved besod man, and they're going upwards. So al manas the histaken, and they do this just like I'm learning with somebody olam akudim. So they're also going back to the pad ak. In order to have that to happen to them, they want to get sweetened up. So after they go to that high place, then they're also going to be extended down into the Partzufi v'Chochma Bina. They also have the same aspect. They have the 320 dinim in them. Now, how's this go? We have just a little bit more. Call nesiv kolo me'eses sfiros and begematria shach nitzutzim. Just the one thing. So he says the nitzivos have a lot to do with these dinim. Well, they are channels, so all the channeling is a din. So that's their. He says that look at it. You look at it more clearly. You look inside of it, and you see that it's actually a 320. So 320 dinim sheyesh them the parts of a chochma b'chein ba'ofen zeh. The hinda b'chochma yesh them lamed beis nesivos. V'kol nesiv kol me'eses sfiros. Nimsa sheyesh b'chochma shach sfiros v'chein b'chein the shach dinim. We're out of time. It's a little interesting place right here, and we'll keep going on. I'm thinking also that maybe are we getting earlier? Is that what's happening? You're going to come earlier? Yeah. So maybe we'll start. I'm looking for an opening to get into the Sifra Tzniuta again. Okay. Call to.